With general insurance, how important do you think a role of technology plays in driving the fate of the industry?
Technology is absolutely crucial in enabling the DIY model. We are seeing more and more people adopt it. The DIY approach is being used in several ways on the sales side.
How do you see the role of AI playing to grow business, to streamline the operations?
Basically, as general insurance companies, we cater to variety of risks. AI helps us leapfrog the data sufficiency and operational efficiency part.
Hello, you're watching CIO News on our exclusive interview format with financial organizations leaders of India on the topic of digital evolution of India's financial sector. And the series is powered by Tata Communications. I am very, very excited to host this episode and moderate our today's discussion. I have two great speakers with me. I have Mr. Abhijit Kedia, the Chief Technology Officer at Raheja QBE General Insurance Company Limited. And we also have Asish Karunkaran, the Vice President and Head of Financial Services Cloud for Tata Communications. Both needs no introduction, but I'm going to take a few seconds to do that. So Abhijit has 22 plus years of rich experience in the general insurance sector, and he has been part of 3 large general insurance companies. He has solid keen interest in new technology trends. He's a follower of technology developments that has been evolving over the years. He's also an avid swimmer and loves scuba diving. That is very interesting, Abhijit, to know about you. And happy to have you today on my episode.
Most welcome. Thank you.
I'm also accompanied by Asish. So Asish, again, needs no introduction because I've done this in the previous episodes, but I'm going to do it again. He has a rich experience of working with various organizations as a CIO. So prior to Tata Communication, he was a CIO for companies like ICICI Prudential Asset Management, Vital Healthcare, SBI Capital Markets, and many more. Once again, Asish, pleasure to have you.
It's my pleasure, Khushbu, to be here. Thank you for having me.
Lovely. To begin with, we're talking about the digital evolution of India's financial sector. We have seen the sector evolve over the years, right? And it has been a very significant evolution. To begin with, I actually wanted to put across my first question to you, Mr. Abhijit. With general insurance, you've been in the space of general insurance, moving more towards online DIY model of being sold rather than through offline channels nowadays. How important do you think a role of technology plays in driving the fate of the industry?
Technology is absolutely crucial in enabling the DIY model. We are seeing more and more people adopt it. The DIY approach is being used in several ways on the sales side. And one thing I want to just correct, even the partners are moving and the risk carriers, insurers are also moving our agents, brokers and other guys towards the DIY model. In the DIY model, we have multiple approaches. First is DIY, which is on our website. It's a kind of a non-assisted, semi-assisted kind of model where users come and issue their own policies. Second one is with the DIY model on the broking websites and the agency websites, such as Policybazaar and people like that, where they give a common interface for the users to choose from different risk carriers. So that is also enabled by technology to a huge extent. The third one is through affinity websites with the likes of Make My Trip and et al., where they provide an affinity to their own core offering in a DIY model. Means all of you, we have selected while doing international or domestic travel or domestic insurance.
Yeah.
And the fourth one is, as a risk carrier, I'm enabling my partners to issue the policies with minimal dependence on me. So we give them a website which is semi-customer focused or a customer focused, where they punch in the data on behalf of customers. All the authentication and everything goes to the customers for KYC and other things through SMS. And they themselves can underwrite the policy at their end itself. So this is where the DIY model is evolving very, very fast. A new interesting DIY model is on the claim side, for example, which is parametric insurance. So Many of the insurers in India, though we are not offering it currently, but many of the insurers have started offering parametric insurance. For example, trip curtailment and trip cancellation. So if you're opted for a domestic insurance through affinity model, and if your airline tickets got cancelled or delayed beyond 4 to 8 hours, depending on the policy conditions, the money is automatically transferred to the insured account. So this is how the DIY model is evolving very fast in India.
Lovely. And I think with all the digital transformation that the general insurance companies is undergoing, it is, I think, very, very important. So no discussion actually happens without the talk of AI, right? So
Correct.
I wanted to understand, how do you see the importance of AI role going forward, both for Raheja GIC as well as the entire sector? How do you see the role of AI playing to grow business, to streamline the operations? Any thoughts on that, Abhijit?
See, basically, as general insurance companies, we cater to variety of risks. For example, as a general insurer, I do health insurance, I do motor insurance, I do travel, I
Right.
do commercial property insurance. So the variety of things what we cater to is immense, and AI helps us leapfrog this data sufficiency and operational efficiency part of it. This is not even limited to only operational. For example, I will just give you a classical example. For example, we receive health claims, the invoices of the hospital and everything. We deploy AI to read through those documents, do a context reading of the after OCR, so that my forms from the variety of hospitals are pre-filled very efficiently, and we process the things very fast, so that my claim assessor is able to take the decision much faster. So the data entry operations part, reading the document, doing only the thing remains with my assessor is taking a decisions on the invoices and getting it processed. Similar in case of motor and other insurance. So one part is very, very clear that AI is going to make the underwriting, claim processing, customer service very, very efficient for routine mundane jobs. So initially it was RPA, now RPA is supplemented by AI to make it much, much faster. Furthermore, the AI doesn't stop only at operational efficiency. It also frees up my bandwidth to invest in other aspects also. For example, I can run a basis that customer data I have. So I can deep dive into the existing documents, cull out the maximum data, do a context-based analysis, and put across more insights into customer journey and customer behavior, driving my businesses. Further, AI also curtails my cost to a huge extent. By optimizing my costs, I can invest in more innovative products and bring business value to the enterprise as such.
Great, absolutely. And I think with the pace of AI use cases coming in place, the adoption of cloud and digital transformation journey that the organizations and even now financial sector is considering, there is actually a huge regulatory focus on CSPs, and that question actually is for you, Asish. There is a lot of increased focus on CSPs and regulator mandates regarding the cloud adoption framework. So, how important, is it for CSPs to share the responsibility with the regulated entities?
Okay, thanks, Khushbu. That's a good question. So maybe I'll just put in the context of what Abhijit was talking about. Maybe specifically in the case of health insurance claim where Abhijit was talking, I worked sometimes in a health insurance TP as a CIO. So maybe I know that particular space slightly well. And maybe in that particular context, if I take it, so because you're fundamentally dealing with the health information of the customers, and that come under all the privacy regulations. And if you're dealing specifically with anything with respect to the maybe like the clients across the globe, even the regulations are stricter. And so your platforms as such need to be ensure that there should be an adequate number of kind of controls available so that the data privacy regulations are not complied with. But this is at an application level. But when the customer is getting deployed the stack in the environment, which some say, for example, in the case of a cloud provider, if you're aligning with, the part of the responsibility also goes to that provider as such. and the regulators are also very keen to kind of look at the entire value chain rather than only at application layer, because an application layer security alone cannot take care of the environment, which the data privacy or the rest of the regulations to be taken care. So the underlying platform need to be taken care of that. And so that is why some of the initiatives, even we are also taking many of the initiatives in that particular direction to ensure that provide the customers the right kind of environment to kind of build the particular stack or build the corresponding controls on top of that. So you are well contained in terms of the regulatory framework or maybe security framework and all. So a well controlled environment so that tomorrow you are not faced with any of the problems as such. So I feel that it is more of like a shared responsibility from the customer to the CSPs to the system integrator and maybe somebody like a managed services provider. So it's an entire value chain on the technology. It's a shared responsibility. And okay, regulators will say that it's a regulated entity's responsibility, but I feel that it's more of like a collective responsibility as such to be provided by the CSPs and whoever is a tech provider on that. So that's my view on that.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, Asish. Now, talking about, we've been seeing the financial sector space, the insurance, it is becoming very, very competitive, right? So there are more players entering the market, leading to varied digital experiences that are getting created for customers in a very competitive environment, right? So in this scenario, wanted to understand, Abhijit, how important do you feel it is to be financially fit, and how crucial a role does optimizing technology infrastructure cost play a role in this regards?
See, if I understand the question correctly, how important is being optimal
Yes.
from the insurer is important to us. I will say in a market where new players are entering, the existing players are getting bigger, you have to serve to the masses where the per capita income is pretty low. You have to go to the tier 3, tier 4 towns, increase the penetration of insurance to the last mile and to the end user. Creating a very, very sound IT system is very, very critical. And sound IT system has to have 4-5 tenants. The first most important tenant is it has to be financially viable. So financial efficiency in the IT setup and technology investment is very, very critical. So I define the whole financial optimization in 4 different categories. First of all, it is about maximizing efficiency. I have to put technologies to improve the operational efficiency of my users. More things can be done using technology than putting across more people in place. Second most important thing is being agile and innovative. With the tech stack being challenged every 3 years or 4 years with the new tech coming in, you have to have enough financial muscle to invest in those technologies and get benefit out of it. So the life of a technological investment remains maximum 5 to 6 years. So you have to build artifacts that are agile and innovative. The third most important thing is about scalability. Today, if I launch a product in a geography like India, and if it clicks, I may be expecting 10,000 policy, and within a week or so, I may be catering to more than 10 lakh customers. So whether my tech investments are capable of handling those kind of loads or not. So scalability comes extremely important to me. Furthermore, while we are investing in all those details, it is very, very critical that the spend what I do, the partners I select are very, very critical to me. And it should not be at the cost of security and resiliency. So resiliency and security are very, very critical for us while we are investing in applications or the tech stack what we are using. It depends upon, varies from the type of infrastructure, type of applications I'm deploying in, the type of components that those applications are using in, the type of communication I am doing with multiple of people, the type of internet bandwidth provider, type of tech stack I'm using. Everything becomes very, very critical while taking decisions, and it has to be with 5 to 10 years in horizon so that my IT investments are safeguarded. So for example, we use a combination of on public cloud infrastructure as well as hosted infrastructure to optimize our cost depending upon the type of technology stacks what we are hosted and where we are hosted. So keeping all these in mind with the financial acumen and financial optimized efficiency is critical for us.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. Ashish, wanted to understand from you. You've been on both sides of the road, right? You've been a CIO and now you're on the other side of the road. How do you feel about the need for an external player to manage the end-to-end IT infrastructure? And specifically, we can talk about the GICs such as Raheja or QE, and letting them focus on their own core competencies.
So I take the point which Abhijit mentioned about it. So he mentioned a point that is a product, one particular product is clicked, and immediately it can scale it to a different level altogether. And since I worked in the client side for such a long time, I know that my ability to kind of scale, I can have an infrastructure sales scalability, it's possible. But my ability to scale the kind of human capability, because I will be having always a limited number of resources, both for my application stack or my infrastructure stack or a support point of view. The ability for me to scale is always limited. And infrastructure point of view, if I'm in a cloud environment, I don't have a problem. I can always scale it. But when it is coming to an infrastructure point of view, I have a limitation in the scalability. So if business is growing exponentially, and I have been talking to a couple of customers, they have seen a massive growth in the business in the last few years, because that's where the country is growing. And they are struggling to kind of cope up with this particular increased demand, because you need to keep the lights on, because it's the running business, you are dealing with the retail customers, and something goes wrong. Probably I'm just gonna say that actually anything goes wrong in a digital stack, your customer escalations can actually go to medias, and it's actually your social media can actually crucify if you left right. So the business point of view, I feel that as a customer, you should ideally focus on building products and the customer engagement platforms and increase the customer experiences. But when it coming to an underlying platform, for example, your infrastructure, your managed services, all those kind of stuff, it can be done because it's fundamentally a utility. It can be done by a specialized player, which has a capability to scale whenever it is required, and sufficient number of skill set and all, because the technology ecosystem is becoming very complex nowadays. There is a specialist skill for each and every small stack required, and your downtime reduction from a 2 hours to a 15 minutes reduction can have a massive positive impact on the entire customer ecosystem. So a specialist player will be in a better position to provide that particular better uptime, better customer satisfaction, and overall actually the experience for the customer asset. So I feel that being in a customer for such a long time, I feel that actually that makes more sense to have this particular utility services or the infrastructure services to be driven by a specialized player on that. So that's my thought on that.
Great. Thank you, Ashish. Great. I wanted to ask, Abhijit, to you if you have any, best practice or any suggestions or any inputs that you would like to give to our viewers from the financial sector that you've been working upon, or you envision as a trend going forward in this sector.
The one most important thing is build the components, whatever you are building, in a most discrete components in a coupled way. It has to be loosely coupled, not tightly coupled. So that gives you a flexibility going forward in your applications, though it's an infrastructure service or application service or human resource service associated with it. So it has to be loosely coupled so you can innovate and be agile very fast.
Great. Thank you for that last quick note. Asish, anything that you would like to add before we close today's episode?
I think I add with I completely agree with what Abhijit talked about it. Your modular will allow you to kind of scale. And I'll add further on to that. So it's always say that actually build for tomorrow. But now it's not build for tomorrow. It's maybe build for actually, because your increases is not actually 2x or 3x. It's a kind of unlimited kind of growth is happening. So all your design skills need to be like an unlimited kind of scalability point of a build. Keep that in mind when you're building a capability around whether it is an application stack or maybe a concurrency or anything that matter actually, like always build to scale. So that's my thought on that.
Okay, lovely. Thank you so much to both of you for taking out time and joining on this episode. I'm sure, I'll be very keen to come once again and have many more deep dive discussions and create more such pointers for our viewers to view and learn from it. Thank you once again, Abhijit. Thank you so much, Ashish.
Yep.
Okay.